that everyone needs to do. So this is everybody learning this. All right. So you will type git status all the time. All the time you should type git status. So go ahead and just do it again. Do git status.
Do it again.
And git status tells you what branch you're on, and then whether or not you're clean. And clean means you don't have any unsaved changes. So Gia, go ahead and do it. Do git status again. You should just do this all the time. Okay? All right, so this is like a really good state to be in on the main branch with like your branches up to date and nothing to commit, working tree clean. So this is like you haven't made any changes and you're on the main branch. Now you don't want to work on the main branch like ever. You always want to be on your own branch. So we're going to check out our own branch now. So the command for that is git space checkout.
One word.
Space, yeah, one word. Space hyphen B. No space there. Yeah. Is it capital B? Yeah. And then space, and then the name of your branch. So you get to pick this name, but it can't have any spaces in it. And so just do like Gia or something. Okay. So that's the name of the branch. So go ahead and hit enter. And now what command should you always do? Git status. So do git status. And so now you'll notice you're on branch Gia and you have nothing to commit and your working tree is clean. So do you have to do code space dot and hit enter? Okay, yeah, you don't have that. So open VS Code. Did it work for you?
Yeah,
Cool.
I remember I did this 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. So yeah, open VS Code and go to file, yeah, and then do open folder and go to so the first thing you're gonna need to do is type Shift Command H. And then let's add code to your favorites. How do you do that? How do you add some of your favorites?
I use this at all.
Trying to remember how to do that. Well, eventually we'll need to add that to your favorites so you can get to it easily. But yeah, go ahead and go to OK Coders, and then Atlas, and then open Atlas. So yeah, good. Okay. All right, so what we're going to do is you're going to change the README. So there's only one file in here. And then just like add a new line and put like, this is a really exciting project or something. Okay, great. So save that. So this is like, this is simulating you like added or changed the code in some way, okay? So everything's great. You're ready to merge this in to main, okay? So go back to the command line and type what command?
Git status. If it's one thing I'm gonna
Yeah.
it's that.
Okay, and so see how cool this is? So you're on branch Gia, and it knows that you modified the README file. So you modified that. And so that is, and often Git is going to tell you stuff that you probably want to do. And so it's like, hey, you have changes that are not staged for a commit. There's a few steps in saving your work in Git. It's not just like saving the file. There's like more intention to it. So the first thing you do is you say, I want to commit something, and then you commit it. And so wanting to commit something is called staging that change. So you can see changes not staged for commit, is the README file, which is modified. And you can say that you want to commit that change. Also, there's a really cool command you can do here, which is git diff. So type git space diff, D-I-F-F, and then hit enter. This shows you what you did. So it's showing you, hey, you added a line. That's why it's in green, and there's that plus, and that's what you did. So at any point when you're about to commit something, you can have it show you all the stuff you did if you want to. So, okay, so let's commit this. So you see how it said up at the top, whenever you do git status, it said git add, and then it's like the file. Now you can specify every file that you want to add, or you can just say, and this is what everybody does, git add dot, which means everything in the current directory and all the subdirectories. So like that'll just, everything you changed, it's going to stage all of it at one time. There are some times where you only want to add something, like one thing to a commit. So it allows you to like specify that, but you're almost always adding everything. So do git add space dot, and then hit enter, and then do what? Git status, and it's saying, hey, you're still on branch Gia, and you have changes that are staged to be committed. It's in green now. And so at this point, we can commit this change. So for that, we do git space commit space -m space single quote. And then this is, M means message. So you have to give a message every time you commit something. So typically you're just like describing what you've done in some way. Yes. And then close single quote, good. And then hit enter. And so we committed that change. So now you can do git status. And we're on branch Gia, nothing to commit, working tree clean. Meaning like we're back to where we were before, which is like there's no changes that aren't committed. Now this is all on your local branch, on your computer. So the GitHub account, the OKCoders GitHub, doesn't know anything about your branch yet. All of the stuff you just did is on your computer only. So if we want to now sync this with GitHub, what we type is git push. So git space push, that's it. And it's going to actually give you, so often Git is going to give you commands that you need to run. And so it's saying, and this is how I always do this, saying, hey, that branch isn't in GitHub. To add it to GitHub, run this command. So just copy that command it just gave you and paste it and run that command. So that's the command you use to add a branch upstream. Once your branch is added, then you can type git push and it'll just push your changes. You don't have to keep typing that. But you'll notice the first time that you actually push your branch, it actually is like, hey, do you want to make a pull request for that? Here's the URL to do that. Now, it's only going to do that one time, so you can't reliably count on that every time. So what we're going to do is, now we're going to show you how to open a pull request in GitHub.
Okay, hold on, because I was making notes about the git commit versus the git push. So on the git push, what did we just do git push or did we do something?
We did git push, but the first time you do git push, it's like, yo, I don't know about that branch. Like you need to explicitly tell me to add that branch, and it gives you the command. And so like I've never memorized that command because I've always just done git push and then copy and paste it. Yeah.
So we do that whole thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
You only have to do that once though. So like right now, you will repeat this flow over and over, which is you'll change something, you'll add it, you'll commit it, you'll push it. You'll change something, you'll add it, you'll commit it, you push it. And like you would do that like maybe if you're working all day, you'll do that maybe like 4 or 5 times. You're just kind of like saving your work. And then like you would do that for a day or two, and then you'd be like, okay, this is ready to go. And then you would initiate the pull request process.
Already irritated by this, passphrase.
Are you having to type the passphrase every time?
Twice already, yeah.
I wonder why Gia didn't have to. I think it's been because she added it to the
That agent
agent.
thing.
I think the agent
Yeah.
might fix that for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mess with that.
So you can either not do a passphrase and not do the agent, or do a passphrase and do the agent.
I think I did
And
a
honestly-
passphrase from the agent.
Yeah. Is that what you did?
Yeah,
Yeah. So it's not asking you for your passphrase every time because it's a part of it. You added it to the agent. Okay. So. All right. So if you change the README again, you would do git add, git commit, and git push. So that's like the three, like, those three steps all the time. But let's open the pull request. So go to GitHub and notice that it's like, hey, you recently made changes on the Gia branch. Like, do you want to make a pull request? So like GitHub's like trying to be pretty helpful. So you can do that with that button that's there right now, or if you like came to this site and that button wasn't there, you can go to the drop down there. Yeah, wow, you know exactly what I was talking about. Yeah, so click that and then view all branches, good, and then you can see your Gia branch right there, and you can click new pull request right there. Good. So this is opening a pull request. So you put a title and a description. So it's actually using your commit as the title automatically for you, but you can change that if you want to. And then you can leave a comment. You don't have to do that though. So go ahead and just click create pull request. Okay, and you've made a pull request. And then now you want to assign a reviewer to it. So click the reviewers setting thing up there.
where is it?
So at the top right, there's like a settings button next to reviewers.
Oh.
Yeah. So click that and then assign Braden to it. I don't want it. Give us Braden. And then assign, so actually, and then also assign it to Braden. So he's supposed to review it, but also go ahead and assign it to him. That's right below reviewers. Because he'll review it and then he'll be like, hey, you need to make these changes. And then he'll assign it to you so that you know that, hey, he's waiting on you to do something. So that's it. So you've opened the pull request and that's all you have to do. You're done at this point. And so let me share my screen now.
Okay, let me unshare my screen.
So I would get notified about that pull request. Well, I actually am not because you assigned it to Braden, but I would know about that. And so I would go into GitHub and I would go to that repo and I would look at this, all these pull requests. That's great. So, oh, he approved it already. So I would go to the pull request and I would see like, oh, okay, like you had this one commit, and then I would look at what you changed and I can see the change and I'd be like, okay, that's great. And so then I would say, let's pull that in. So I'll approve it, great job. And then submit that. And then typically either you would merge it or I would. It just kind of depends on the shop you're at. And for this project, we'll merge everything for you. So what I'm doing is I'm going to merge your code into main. So I'm adding what I'm adding is actually your commits to main. And so I'm going to merge it and confirm that. And then I'm going to actually delete your branch. So the branch, I don't need your branch anymore. So I'm going to delete it. And so now if we go back to the code, main has your changes. So if we look at the commits in this so far, there's my initial commit, there's your commit that you did, and then there's the merge pull request commit. So I don't know why there's a commit for merging pull requests. I'm not used to that actually. Or maybe there is.
Oh, you want me to do rebasing?
Yeah.
We could change the
Yeah, we could change that.
flow for it.
But yeah, so this is the history of main now. Okay, so here's the thing that happens that you have to be good at. So, for example, I did all of that in GitHub. So on my local computer doesn't know about any of that just happened. So you have to constantly sync, not only push to GitHub, but also pull from GitHub to keep up to date with what's going on. So if I go to my version of this, so I have the Atlas project on my local computer. I don't have any of those changes. So if I do git status, I'm on branch main, nothing to commit, working tree clean, but I'm behind. If I look at the commits, there's a command called git log to look at the commits. I only know about the first commit, my local computer. So what you type is git pull, and what it does is it will sync your local computer with what's in GitHub. And so the first thing it did was add those commits to my local main branch. So when I do git log now, I have those 2 new commits. And then notice when I did git pull, it also found out about all of your guys' branches. If I wanted to work on one of your branches, I can go to that branch and work on it if I wanted to. Notice it doesn't have Gia's branch because I deleted that. So Gia, you now, if you're going to continue working on the project, you need to go back to main, pull, and then start this whole flow over again. Because whenever you branch off main, you need to make sure that you have the latest changes.
So I would do git space pull, and then it would sync all the new commits.
So share your screen again.
Okay.
All right, so go to the terminal, do git status. So I deleted Gia's branch in GitHub, but you still have that branch on your local machine.
Mm-hmm.
But what you want to do is we're done with that. Your pull request got merged. So you're going to git checkout main. So the checkout command is typically what you're going to use to switch from branch to branch. We used checkout before to make a branch, and we had to use that -b to specify that we're making a new branch. But if we just want to switch to an existing branch, you just do git checkout and then the name of the branch. So git checkout main, go ahead and hit enter. So now you're back on main, and you're going to type git pull, because your local main doesn't have those changes either. And notice it updated, it added that commit to your local main branch, and now you're back to where we started. So that's everything we just did is the flow that you're going to do all the time, and eventually it'll just be muscle memory. And but that's the extent of the commands you need to know, pretty much. Sort of.
Let's do Hannah's too. She's got a conflict.
Okay. I'm going to stop sharing this.
Hold on, Jeff.
Okay.
I wanted to say.
All right. No, so I don't think we should worry about that yet.
Really?
Can we briefly talk about it?
Yeah, okay.
Because
All right. So did you open a pull request?
you always crush your face. Yeah.
Well, I think we'll walk everybody through it when we get to this. So at some that was enough in my mind for you guys to
Yeah.
you know.
Well,
you
I
need
think it would be good to
Yeah.
get a solid understanding of this, and maybe we do some repetition here and then.
Yeah. All right. So let's just understand what happened, and then we'll learn about dealing with it later. So did you open a pull request? Okay. So, all right. So you opened a pull request. And you remember, like, all of you branched off main at the same time, basically. You made your own branch. And then you made your changes and you pushed your branch and you made a pull request. But after you had done all of that, I had merged somebody else's pull request into main. And so 2 new commits were added to main that you didn't have when you merged or when you checked out from main. So when you made your branch from main, you had 1 commit and then you did your stuff. And so your branch is behind main now because main changed while your branch was doing its own thing. And so there's 2 commits on main that you don't have. And the way that we handle this is like, well, you cannot add your commits to main until you add the commits that were added to main to your branch and figure out if there's any problems that need to be fixed. So now you have to figure out how to reconcile the conflicts, which there's not always conflicts. Like a lot of times you can just say like, yeah, just add those 2 commits to my branch and everything's fine. But notice this is saying, hey, this branch has conflicts that must be resolved. And so what happened was you added content to line 2, 3, and 4, and Gia added content to line 2. And so it's like, well, like what should be at line 2? Should it be what Gia put, or should it be a new line, what you put? So that's the thing. Like Git doesn't know how to fix that. Only a human knows what should be there. So typically it's either the person opening pull request or the reviewer that would be like, oh, like this is how we should resolve these. Like, this is what the code should be considering.
So if she did a git pull, would it overwrite what she had in the README file?
Well, so
But
git
yeah.
pull is relative to branch run.
Right?
So like when you say git pull,
Oh, okay.
it's like I'm like if you're on main, you're pulling the commits that are on main from GitHub into your local branch. So
Main branch if you're on main, right? Not your branch.
so yeah, like when you say git pull, like from where? Like from what
Is that
branch?
pulling? So, okay, let's just make sure I understand this. So
Tell me.
I
This is where it gets really tricky.
created my own branch based on what was in main. And I'm wanting to make sure that if somebody has committed something to main, I'm accounting for it in my branch before I commit my branch because I want to know if there
Mhm.
are conflicts.
Yeah, so there's a specific workflow to do that I haven't shown you yet.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
so that's not,
That's you haven't
that's a
learned that yet.
different, okay.
And there's people have different styles of how they like to handle that. And it's a whole other workflow that we have to learn.
Okay,
Yeah, so I honestly don't think we should do it today.
that's fine.
But like, hopefully you guys understand the concept, which is like, you had created your version.
So what I'm pulling, I'm only pulling from anything that's been committed to GitHub in my branch, not to me. And
Well,
her-
it depends on what branch you're on when you pull. So when you do get status and you're on main, if you do get pull, you're pulling everything from main
Right.
into main, like GitHub main into local main.
Yeah.
If you're on your branch and you do get pull, most likely there's nothing because you're the one.
Because you're the
working
one
it. Yeah, exactly.
So let's talk about, there's 2 commands that are similar. There's git fetch and git pull. And so git fetch says, tell me everything that's up there. And just, I want my local to know about it, but don't change anything. And then git pull is that, but it adds on to also any branch that is connected to my branch, also pull those commits down. So whatever branch I'm on. So git pull is git fetch plus update my branch with the remote.
Yeah, I always use get pull. Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like we use git fetch for like what you're talking about, like resolving the stuff, which is just like, I want to know about it, but I don't want to have to change my branch around. So it just lets me know about master up there. And then after I have the information, then to do something with it.
Okay, I remember struggling with when was I supposed to use fetch and pull and got confused about what was the difference between the two, so.
Yeah, I pretty much always use pull, but like there may be, you may be giving yourself work if you do pull, if there's conflicts. But like, I always
That's good. Cool.
I always do that. We're going to work in a way where we try desperately hard not to have conflicts.
Well, but I think it'd be
That's
good to create conflicts first and work through them, and then that way
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
not
If you
stuck.
see the conflict out there, it feels good. It's crazy. It's horrible.
Oh, it's bad.
Yeah, it's different. It's new. So it's like there's 3 now. It's like incoming, current, and then like the result. So it'll show you what it will end up as below, and you have to like check box which one you want,
Mm-hmm.
or both or something.
Mm-hmm.
It's way different. I guess people have been asking for it though.
Yeah.
It's closer to WebStorm, I guess,
Okay.
but it's a learning process.
But yeah, it's a whole skill, resolving conflicts. And like, honestly, like, you can have your boss do it for you for a while. It's like, you figure out how to do it.
What if you are the boss?
We'll learn it. We'll definitely do an example of it. But I want to make sure that you guys retain the core thing that we just learned, which is like the core workflow, and you're able to do that. So let me stop the recording. Okay, any questions on the call?
No, sounds really complicated, but
Yep,
it'll probably be muscle memory after a while.
yep. Sherry, did you get your stuff fixed?
No, but I will work through it and see if I can work through the documentation and get myself set up. I think I already have an SSH key.
Okay, all right. Well, if you're still having issues next time, one of us will get it fixed.
That sounds good. Thank you.
Okay. All right, I think that's all we should do for today. So, you guys have the deck. I'd look through it. Keep in mind, we're not trying to do all the curriculum in that deck. You need more context. But I think we'll just pick one module, and I think, just so I'm not laughing every time we're here, we should do the public versus private one. And which is the one they recommended anyways. So just look through that and familiarize yourself with it, and then start pulling inspiration. So like, hey, there's this in the App Store, and there's this website, and it's like, this stuff is cool, or this game for kids is cool, or whatever. And then next class, we'll all just kind of share what we found.
And, well, I may or may not be here.
Oh, I won't be here next week either.
Are we skipping?
I have a bachelor party I have to go to, but no, I don't think we should.
You
skip.
guys
I
would
think
do me a
Braden-
huge favor if we skip, or at least don't cover anything too incredibly important, because I might need to sleep. I'll be
Okay.
flying the night before.
Yeah, I don't think we should skip. Like, what? But like, we can communicate.
Can you record it
Slack.
at least? And that way, if I can't get out of bed, I can watch
Let's
it.
record.
Yeah, I think I have to wait till we end the call or something, maybe.
Don't forget your
I don't know.
I'm good.